Hello, my name is Randall, and I'm doing a documentary on how people's perspectives have changed on disability. In this documentary, I will be exploring the environmental and social changes of people with a physical disability. My definition of a physical disability is that people should be treated no differently if they have a physical disability. It's just physical. It doesn't damage the brain or anything like that. And I feel a lot of people judge a book by its cover rather than the actual person. People should realise with people with a physical disability that actually they're the same as everyone else and they can just do the same as everyone else. My disability is quadriplegia, which affects all my 4 limbs, so it affects my 2 legs and my 2 arms as well. It does. So quadriplegia means it affects all 4 limbs, and I have cerebral palsy, which means that I'm wheelchair bound, but I don't let anything stop me in life. So I hope you enjoy this documentary.
Karen Lightly, who is a disabled journalist, was stranded on a train from Manchester to London in 2017. Karen Lightly's experience has inspired me to investigate environmental and social changes and transport issues at stations such as Charing Cross Underground. It has highlighted the positive and negative issues, and there is still room for improvement and change.
As you can see, some stations like Tunbridge have a lift, but not every station has a lift like Tunbridge. Most of them have stairs. For example, Charing Cross Underground has lots of stairs that I can barely get down. It's really difficult for people like me with a physical disability and also blind people to also get down these stairs to the underground. It's a bit of a shame I can't get down to the underground because it's stopping me from accessing loads of places. If Charing Cross would install a lift, like some stations have done, then I wouldn't have this trouble. But I'm going to ask to see if they're installing a lift anyway.
I decided to conduct some primary research by speaking to one of the members of staff. Unfortunately, he did not want to be filmed to protect his identity. However, he did say, "I strongly feel that people who attend London Charing Cross Underground need to have an equal opportunity to travel and access the Underground, even if they have a physical disability. But the main problem is funding and the architecture of the building." Tunbridge Wells Station has adapted their facilities to make it more easy for people who have a physical disability by installing a lift approximately 4 years ago. Before they installed this lift, people like me who have a physical disability had to go round the back of the station to get onto platform 2, which resulted in wheelchair and visually impaired having to cross a pavement which was very unsafe and dangerous. The pavements into my local park in Tunbridge Wells are really uneven and dangerous, forcing wheelchair users and blind people to go out onto the road. From seeing how inaccessible some pavements are, it has made me more determined to explore about environmental issues such as accessibility. So I went to Brighton, as it is a popular seaside town, to investigate the accessibility. As you can see, the stairs down to the promenade from where I am on the pavement are not accessible at all. I'm going to show people with a physical disability what facilities there are to get down onto the promenade.
Okay, so I've now come up here to show you the accessibility of how Brighton is and how it can be accessible for disabled people to get down onto the actual seafront bit. As you saw back there with the stairs, there was absolutely no way disabled people could go down it, and even blind people, because it just wasn't, accessible and marked properly. With this ramp, it allows disabled people to actually be able to go down the ramp and onto the seafront. As you can see down here, this place is perfectly level for people who are blind and who have a physical disability and who are also wheelchair bound to access all these places such as cafes, live events, etc. It is really well done here. However, I feel there are some places in Brighton which are not accessible, and although I really enjoy coming down here, some places, because they're not accessible, kind of spoils my time down in Brighton. This is the seafront with all the pebbles and the beach. You'd think, since this is a seaside town, that actually this would be the most accessible place in Brighton to actually, for people who have a disability, a physical disability, to actually access. Well, actually, you're wrong there. Just last summer when I came down, I got stuck on one of these pebbles for 20 minutes and it was absolute chaos. One of actually the people who was actually doing a sea lesson down in the sea had to actually come and help to lift my wheelchair out of the pebbles. That's how stuck it was. They said to me last year there's going to be an improvement and a ramp built down to all this area, but as yet nothing has happened. It's not just accessibility which needs to change. There are other environmental issues which needs to change, such as public transport. I met up with my friend Helen, who said for her and her husband, public transport can be very time consuming and stressful.
My name's Helen Cavan. My disability is spinal injury, paraplegic. Mark and I can't both get on the bus together. They won't take two wheelchair users. So it would be nice if we could go on the bus, because it would save us worrying about parking and things, finding a space down at the coast. Because on a nice day, it would probably be very busy. They have ramps on the trains, but you've got to ring in advance. 48 hours I think you have to ring. So you couldn't just go on the train that day without ringing. Well, when I'm out and about with Mark or with a friend, they always talk to the person behind.
And how does that make you feel?
I go downhill. Mommy, I go downhill.
Cross.
Upset.
Cross. Yeah.
Thinking that I don't belong to society.
Helen finds that her canine partner Ola has given her independence and changed her life.
I've got Ola, my assistant's dog now, so wherever I go, Ola's with me, so she can help. Ola, get it! Get it! Good girl! Bring it here! Oh dear! Get it! Good girl! Now you'll be a good girl. Good girl!
I wanted to ask my peers who had a physical disability what their definition of a physical disability was, and did they feel they were treated equally for jobs, events and opportunities. What is your name and what is your definition
of a physical disability?
My name's Josh Ivans. I'd say it's a muscle weakening condition that is progressive, and over time it decreases your muscle function.
Do you feel, as someone with a physical disability, you are treated equally in terms of opportunities, such as events, jobs and activities?
They say that jobs are for disabled people, which both people do, both companies or organisations are meant to take on disabled workers. But I think still sometimes you hear stories where that if they can employ someone who's not got a physical disability, they will. It's small things like that, just the way people talk to you, because sometimes when they talk to you in a patronising way, which when you're about 20 you don't really want to be seen that way. And I think still sometimes people think people with physical disabilities have learning disabilities, which a lot of people with physical disabilities do learning disabilities, but I think they think everyone, isn't capable of making their own decisions.
My disability is wheelchair. Wheelchair. I'm thinking myself I'm noble but a deaf. Yes, I feel quality. Yes. Yes, it's difficult to find a job.
So do you feel that people look at people who are deaf and like to see their disability rather than their capability?
Sometimes, yeah.